I got the record into two record shops, which was Aron's on Melrose and Rhino Records in North Hollywood. Now, I asked Peter to send me 12 more copies of the LP, and I sold the 5 each to the two record shops. And I paid for the air freight myself. So on the accounts for the record, you'll see there's no cost at all that relates to my trip to America at all. But meanwhile, back in Cambridge, with Patricia Myers now working for the council, because she had faced this, public humiliation for being so nasty to me when I'd been beaten up and what have you, she had this grudge, didn't she? And so she was going around telling people in the council, oh, he's gone to America with money from the record company loan, you know. He's spending council money. And I hadn't. I'd raised a personal loan on the purchase of my home. I had to do that because I was £4,500 in debt at the end of the years working on the junction. Because a lot of times I hadn't been able to do overtime in the theatre or other work. So I'd ended up falling into debt because I'd been carrying on this project until it was done. Because I knew, just, you know, being you're born in the year of the horse, I put the bit between my teeth and I kept it there until the keystone was laid and the building was going to be built, because I knew how tricky and nasty Cambridge City Council are. And I say are because they still are. In fact, you know, a lot of the elements in there now are even nastier and even more psychopathic than when we were doing this work on the junction. So anyway, there's Patricia Myers going around saying all this stuff. I didn't know, somebody told me that they had police follow me to Miami, which my flight went to, and then to Los Angeles. How long they followed me for, I don't know. But then they must have been so disappointed when they saw the accounts and saw none of it related to the trip to America at all, and they had nothing that they could pin on me or bust me with or whatever they were planning to do. And they spent this money on sending a policeman to America, following me, and, you know, reporting what I was doing and whatever, on these lies Patricia Myers had told. But of course, they don't apologise and they don't say, oh, sorry, we thought that about you. Oh, no. Oh, no. They get more resentful and more spiteful and more hateful. Because, of course, they were wrong and they spent this money and they shouldn't have spent it. So they're looking bad for having spent money on bogus issues. And so they're even more resentful and even more hateful. And I had a lot of this business going on, sly business, you know, like I go for medical treatment at Addenbrooke's, and I find that I get a young guy who doesn't do the proper diagnosis, doesn't do the proper investigation, comes up with a bogus half diagnosis or something that then puts me in jeopardy with Department of Work and Pensions for 2 years. And I end up in hospital with pneumonia because they're refusing to accept that I'm ill. And I have to go to Newmarket, to another consultant in Newmarket, who does the proper tests and proves the case that I was ill all the time, even though I've been through 2 appeals and both of them have been failed. And of course, DWP won't recognise that they made a mistake, they got it wrong. No, because they're getting it wrong on purpose. They were told to get it wrong by people. And this is how these kinds of things operate. I mean, if you don't think there's dark lodges operating in Cambridge, then wake up. Because, you know, Alistair Crowley lived across the road from where I'm living now, in Norfolk Street. These things have always been going on here. And while they're laughing at, you know, the foolish people out here who accept what they say and do, in the years that I sat into council meetings, and I sat into every one, City Board, Finance Panel, all of them to do with the junction, anything that was relating to it. And I saw that about 1/3 of their budget went towards being a nuisance to Cambridge County Council because they were different political persuasion. And you can guarantee that County Council were wasting about 1/3 of their budget being a nuisance to Cambridge City Council. What amounts to a bun fight between 2 bunches of Masonic creatures who are spending public money on what amounts to, well, spite, nastiness, hatefulness, and just being nasty little boys, basically, with public money.